the Bibby Stockholm, an asylum seeker barge commissioned by the previous Conservative government, concluded its short-lived and ultimately controversial operation in November. 18 months after its arrival at Portland Port in Dorset, the vessel, which remained largely empty for most of its deployment, was towed away from its mooring. This decommissioning marks the end of a project that has proven exceptionally costly and deeply problematic, raising serious questions about its efficacy and ethical implications. The National Audit Office has revealed that the barge, designed to provide basic and functional accommodation for asylum seekers awaiting decisions on their applications, cost taxpayers at least £34, $8 million. This exorbitant figure represents a significant investment with demonstrably limited returns, especially considering the barge's consistently low occupancy rate. At its peak, it housed approximately 400 single male asylum seekers, a far cry from the government's projected capacity and a stark contrast to the substantial financial burden it imposed. The Conservative government's justification for this initiative rested on the premise that reducing the reliance on hotels for asylum seeker accommodation would curb the incentive for small boat crossings. This claim, however, has been widely challenged, with critics arguing that it ignores the complex factors driving asylum seekers to undertake perilous journeys. The cost-effectiveness of the barge, compared to hotel accommodations, remains highly questionable, and the project's overall impact on migration flows is yet to be definitively assessed. Serious concerns regarding the barge's suitability and safety were raised even before asylum seekers began to board. Reports in The Guardian highlighted issues such as cramped living quarters, inadequate fire safety measures, overcrowded bedrooms, 2 individuals sharing spaces designed for one, and a critical shortage of life jackets. These concerns, far from being minor oversights, underscored a fundamental failure in planning and oversight that prioritized budgetary considerations over the well-being and safety of vulnerable individuals. The tragedy surrounding the death of Leonard Farruku, a musician seeking asylum from Albania, further intensified the criticisms leveled against the barge. His apparent suicide highlighted the profound psychological distress experienced by residents, many of whom were already grappling with trauma from persecution and displacement. Following Mr. Farruku's death, a coalition of over 60 charities and 3 Labour MPs issued a powerful statement condemning the barge, describing it as a prison that exacerbated the suffering of its inhabitants. They highlighted the cramped, restrictive, and isolating environment, emphasizing the inadequate support provided for individuals coping with significant trauma and mental health challenges. The statement emphasized that the Bibby Stockholm was a wholly unsuitable environment for those who had endured violence, persecution, and torture. The decommissioning of the Bibby Stockholm occurred while approximately 86,000 individuals in the UK remained in limbo, awaiting decisions on their asylum claims. This significant backlog further underscores the broader failings of the UK asylum system and raises questions about the government's overall approach to MAT. The barge's failure represents not only a colossal waste of public funds, but also a profound ethical lapse, highlighting the inhumane conditions inflicted upon vulnerable individuals seeking refuge. The lasting legacy of the Bibby Stockholm is likely to be one of profound criticism and calls for significant reforms to the UK's asylum policy and the way it addresses the needs of asylum seekers. For those struggling with suicidal thoughts, please reach out for help. In the UK and Ireland, contact Samaritans at freephone 116 123 or email joe@samaritans.org or joe@samaritans, i.e. In the U.S., call or text the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988, chat at 988 Lifeline.org or text HOME to 741,741. In Australia, Lifeline is 131114. International Hell.